Hey, design trends. Here we go. You are the expert. So when clients, bosses, and creative directors want a new training design, you're expected to know what that exactly is. So you're seen as the subject matter expert. So you are the web design expert, you are the print expert, etc. On the latest and coolest new trends in graphic design, you're up, you gotta bring it. So with trends coming and going, it's tough to keep up with what's happening. And with so many lists of top design trends online, obviously doing your research pays off. Things move very quickly, but there are always the basic steps or the basic things that are not going to expire in a couple months or in a year, so, type thing. So here, here's yet another list. So enterprising supply chain just got better. Solutions for industry and enterprises to gain value from blockchain, power supply, etc. So this would say be you know, a big company who is a factory, and you could technically introduce immediately imagery from them, but instead, in this instance, we bring in illustrations. That is a big one right now. So they bring in an illustration because sometimes, you know, an enterprise or a factory is not the most beautiful looking imagery. And instead of relying on stock imagery, illustration can be much better and more effective because you can also then go in and you can adjust things yourselves. So again, here, so custom illustration for websites has been around for some time, still in demand. So they allow for designs that work with particular interfaces. File sizes are much smaller, which is obviously a really great thing. Illustrations can take on branding colors. And like I said, you can adjust and you can customize to what you feel is best for your client. And then there's a few resources. Here's another one. So neuromorphism. So we've got buttons, press, disable, so different ways of styling our buttons, etc. Lots of obviously different companies are going to have these. It's a play on the term, I can't pronounce that, made popular with the iOS platform in the early 2010s. Neuromorphism is a monotone design style that uses gradients and soft shadows to create a look and feel that's kind of lifelike. It combines flat design with futuristic tactile shapes, ideal for interactive elements, creating hover and active and visited states. And neuromorphism defines engaging UI that begs to be engaged with. So Apple's kind of up in that trend. They're probably a big leaders in it. So minimalism, we don't even like the internet, product design from sunny London. So very minimal. Obviously, we don't know what the company is, but it's clean, but it makes you want to jump in still. Websites focus on the core messaging. The attention is drawn to simple, unobstructed graphics by stripping away superfluous, I'm not going to even try to pronounce that today, content the user is presented with clear UI to interact with. It's all about balance, alignment, and contrast. Very easy way to create a modern looking website design. These are all very cool looking. You know, this is for the ballet. So you could, again, go typical for ballet and some big production style image, but this is incredibly powerful. That's quite powerful. That's quite powerful. So it's not easy, but it's very cool, very effective. This is a very easy way to create a modern looking website. It's an easy way to create a modern looking website, but it's not easy to achieve that. So color is typically utilized to create mood, style, emotion. So it could be a full black and white with maybe blasts of red type thing. And then we come into dark mode. So we all know about dark mode, introduced a few years ago. Now we can set dark mode on our phones and in our interfaces on our computers. So initially offered as an OS by Apple and Google, dark mode is highly requested design for web products. Pardon me. The use of low light, blacks, darks, grays, etc. offer a modern, bolder version of the typical light environments. Dark mode actually reduces eye strain In some cases, interfaces are offered in both light and dark mode, so you can switch between the two of them. In low light condition, dark mode is easier to consume content. And then while easy enough to create a dark them from the light theme, that's a little typo there. Accessibility is very important to consider. We're off to a great start today, aren't we? So a fun little interface here and some simple animation perhaps. UI animation encourages interactivity. It engages you immediately. It also provides a more tactile interface that encourages engagement, which I just said. Using animation effectively, you can convey a message in a visual way. The idea is to make sure the animation is purposeful and not just there for the heck of it. I recently had a client that, my goodness, we went through, I'm not sure how many iterations of his website comps because he was insisting on an animation and then kept changing his direction of what he wanted the animation to be and what it was supposed to mean. And then we just kept honing in on, what exactly is the purpose of this? And that was when we finally put a stop to it to say, like, why do you need this? Why do you want it? You need to drill in on your message first in order for us to move on, because, well, that was a lot of time wasted. So we've got micro interactions. They provide immediate feedback to what's expected from the user base. So that could be a simple slider on a download, a switch on off type thing. Small short animations on buttons, sliders, drop downs can help the user learn how to navigate the interface. They help guide users through the actual interface. Users actually perform less errors when micro interactions are utilized because it's been done. You see that movement, you see that interaction happening. They can tell the user what's next, let the user know what they need to perform an action in order to advance, and also, pardon me, award the user. Augmented reality, IKEA here. I don't know if anyone's ever used that. It's pretty great. Not everyone's going to be able to use that, or not everyone really has the need for that. UI and augmented reality is becoming a huge market for designers. And our experiences in Pokemon Go, Snapchat have helped define the rules of that engagement. While AR isn't new, using it to navigate through an interface is becoming more strategic and useful. They allow users to access information when they don't need it in the space they're in is both powerful and effective at the same time. AR is redefining the brand. UX and UI designers are tasked by making the interfaces work efficiently. Having some problems speaking today. Storytelling, this is a big one, personally for me. Storytelling involves helping the user navigate through the content by presenting them that in a linear way. This type of content delivery is typically on the homepage of sites, encouraging new products or services. It allows the user to follow along with content and synchronously learn about the features and benefits. This creates a more emotional reaction. I'm sorry. To your interface when a user is researching products and services. I'm boring myself. Companies like Apple and Microsoft have been using storytelling for years. They're most definitely the leaders in that. Asymmetry, I'm a big fan of this as well. I love designing this way. It's most certainly not for everyone, and there is a target audience for the client and a target audience for the user where this will be effective. Especially when you're first getting involved in UI and layout design, the tendency to center everything is prevalent. Asymmetrical designs allow for hierarchy to take the center stage. To create character, oh my goodness. No, I'm like focusing on not yawning. This character, creativity and personality to interfaces and layouts. Left alignment becomes a hero element when creating asymmetrical alignments, say in this case. Keeping in mind what the user needs to see when creating layouts this way. So This is most certainly not easy because we still, even though we might have a particular target audience, we always need to think about accessibility. So we don't want things to be too difficult or too wild where people don't understand, they are unsure how to actually now navigate because it's too wild, too asymmetrical. Quote. Then there's no rules. So something really insane like that, same thing. Target client, target audience for sure. By all means, break all those rules. You're in a creative medium, so you flex those muscles. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. When traditional techniques aren't conveying the message effectively enough, maybe time to think outside the box. So brutalism is a great way of how breaking the rules is much more accepted in communication today. So I'm a strong believer in web and in print that breaking those rules is very cool, but again, it's not easy. And I most definitely think that you need to define the rules first or become professionals and pros and really perfect the actual rules of design, whether it be web or print, in order to essentially break them. Because sometimes if we break them, it could just look, it just looks messy and it just looks like you didn't really know what you were doing. So as trends come and go, it's important to be aware and to be able to design interfaces to a trend. Having a style is always a valuable trait, but being able to create, to a trend will help you be more adaptable. So again, to strongly emphasize that there are all these trends, but they're most definitely not for everyone. Lots of those in the earlier stages of that lecture are probably a little bit more universal for many clients. As we get down to the end, again, we need to get a little bit more particular and a little more targeted. Any questions? Apologize for that yawn. All the yawns, I should say.